Welcome all to the weekly outlook. We're in here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily. We've got that WXY, X2, Z down. There's two scenarios here. This can be the Z down, or this is a correction in here and we get an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C as a larger flat in here before we get an A, B, C. On the H4, it's been extremely choppy, like I've mentioned, over the last few weeks. It's finally broken out here. Now we can pretty much only look for buys. It's going to be risky because this still is possible a B wave in here. So we're going to have to be very careful buying. On the H1, we'd be looking at some sort of an A, B, a WXY. So we'd be looking for a correction of similar size in time to this over here, and then you could look for the Z up. This is the safest way to play it. I wouldn't be trading flags and that up here. It's too risky. AU on the daily. So nothing's changed on this on the daily. We're looking for that A, B, C before we get the larger A, B, C. There's really not much we can do with this at the moment until this low here gets broken. We may get a bull hidden here. And it goes up and breaks the top one more time before it falls over. That's on the H4 time frame. On the H1, we can only really look for a sell, and I'd be looking for a correction in here back to around that 50 fib of this move down here, and then I'd be looking for that sell. EU on the daily. So this one's playing pretty much how I'm looking at it. We got that A, B, C to finish off this B wave, and then we get the A, B, C up. We can draw a target here, what we're sort of looking at. If I remove that one. So for the sell, we'd be looking at this around this 100 pip target here, 105, 1057 area. On the H4, unfortunately, this is the top here. This one here didn't quite go and break the top. So we got some sort of a WXY. You'd have to wait for an X2 and then look for the Z down. On the H1, you'd be looking for around a 38.2 fib retracement. So wherever this move here ends, you'd be looking for a correction back to the 38.2, and then you could look for the sell. It may get higher, may get to the 50 fib, but yeah, we need a retracement. We need a correction of similar size to this one over here, and then we can look for a sell. GU on the daily. So there's two scenarios here. I've been looking at this possible A, B, C, D, E as an expanding triangle for a very long time now. As a first scenario, or else we get the second scenario, which is we get the A, B, C. We do have that bearish divergence. But either way, we're looking for a sell in here. Whether it's to go and break the low or just an E down, well, we'll find out in the future. H4, I'll remove that. We can really, this is nice because we got a high here. We're getting nice impulse down. If we go down to the H1, very similar to the others. Oh, well, it's not. We just got one wave down. You'd be waiting for this wave to end, and you'd be looking for a correction. Some sort of a correction in here, ideally back to the 50 fib, and then we look for that one down. So we may be in correction all next week, basically, depending on when this, this wave here ends. But the safest way is to wait for the correction, and then you look for the sell. To sell down here, risky. NU on the daily. So there's a couple of scenarios here. I was looking at an A, B, C down. The problem was, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, this low here didn't go and break that low. This was still looking very corrective. So I'm looking at an A, B, C in here, and then we get an A, B, C. To start off with, I was looking at this A, B, C here as a expanding flat. As soon as we got this here, this was very choppy. So we rolled that out pretty much as soon as we started to get this. Then I was looking for that A, B, C. That didn't play out. And now we're getting that larger correction. Or larger B wave as an A, B, C. H1, it is quite risky on the H4 to buy, to sell. We do have a possible bear hidden here. So, we have to go down to the lower time frames and look for a correction before we can sell it. So we'll be looking for a very similar to GU, sorry. We'll be looking for a correction. Ideally back to the 50 fib, and then we can look for that sell. And this wave here may not be over. If you're scalping these, you've got to be really careful, because it's only a matter of time that we get that correction to sell. GY on the daily. So this one here, we got that A, B, C up. We got that bearish divergence in there on the daily. H4, this is we sort of got that WXY. This wave here never got anywhere near the 100 fib, and we don't have any bearish divergence. This can be a correction in here for an A, B, C. So, you may get another one down in here, but this is quite choppy. So it's more bullish. On the H1, we don't have any bullish divergence, and this wave here never got anywhere near the 100 fib as for the A, B, C. So we may get another one down in here. You could look for this scalp in here to sell that, and then you'd have to start to be careful. If I just put on the fib here, get that 100 fib. So you'd be looking for this 100 fib as your first target. if price comes straight through that, well, you can keep that trade. If you get on a trade in here, you could keep that trade, but I'd be first targeting that 100 pip. Leave the second half. If it does break through, well, you could keep it longer term. UY on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C. So I'm looking for an A, B, C in here before we get an A, B, C. We lost all the bearish divergence in here. This was looking very much like a B wave, and then we got that sharp move up. This can be an A, a B, and we get a C down here. Whether we can get a sell on it, that's the we may not get a sell on it. That's the problem. See, we just got an A, some sort of an A, B, and we're getting a C up. This may turn into a wave Y and then an X2 and a Z up as well, before we get the A, B, C. Really at this stage, you probably could trade flags on this one. You'd have to go down to the lower time frames. Because we don't have any bearish divergence in here, you could look for flags on this one, or little correction or corrections on the lower time frame, to look for a buy. USD CAD, if I just remove that. On the daily, this is getting very choppy. I was looking for that like WXY, X2. We had that bull hidden here, for a wave Z up. It started to go, and then it comes straight back down, and now we're getting another one up, as you can see. So it's going to be quite difficult to trade this one. This is a extremely, like, we got a nice move up, so we're just looking for a buy, but we got that really deep correction. So last week I was sort of looking at a WXY, X2, and a possible Z down. That still is possible because we do have that possible bear hidden there. So we really have to be careful buying this. If I just go back, because this can be just an A, B, C, and this B wave in here may not be over, like I just explained. This can be a WXY, X2, and a Z down with a bear hidden here. USD Swiss franc. So we got that A, B, C. We're looking for the buy. We've been looking for the buy for a very long time. Maybe starting to go. We got all this bullish divergence. So we're only looking for buys. This was quite choppy in here. Did get a trade on it though. So I am in this one. It's quite difficult. There was that possible bear hidden here. And then we're getting some sort of A, B, C in here. So if you're not in it, it's going to be very risky to buy, because we may get bearish divergence in here. There is another scenario that this is an A, all this is a B, and then we get a C down as a running or expanding flat before we get an A, B, C as well. So you'd have to go down to the lower time frames, to really trade this at this stage. EG on the daily. We're looking at that A. A, B, C as an expanding flat in here, and then we get that A, B, C down. This C down in here is very slow, and it's more corrective for upside. It's not hasn't fallen over. It started to fall over last week, but yeah, extremely difficult to trade this pair. It's played out on the H4 like we were looking. We're looking for this wave Z down. We're looking at a WXY, X2, and the Z down. We've got that now. So no more sells. On the H1, we may get another one down in here for a WXY, X2, and a Z down to finish off the H4 Z. You'd really want. I wouldn't trade it because we already have bullish divergence in here, and we're not going to get a bull hidden. So I wouldn't be trading this wave Z down. I'd be waiting, I dare say, on the lower time frames. If I just go down to the M15 quickly, give a possible structure here. On the M15, you can only buy it. We've got a nice impulse up. We've got a wave down. This is looking like a B wave. We can get a C down in here as an A, B, C, and then we get the A, B, C. So you could, if you got this wave C down in here, you could, look for a buy. If you got a nice buy setup, you could probably scalp that up for just up to the 100 fib. You want to at least take half off at the 100 fib. WTI on the daily. So this one played out. We got that WXY, A, B, C as the running flat in here, and then we got that large A, B, C. This one did go and break that low. We had all that bullish divergence, so we're only looking for buys. There's really not much on the H4. We just got that one wave down. On the H1, it's similar to what we had last week. There is a possible bear hidden here. I am in a sell here. It's very slow. I'm just in this sell for this bear hidden to see if that plays out, or we may just get a deep correction. Back to the 90 fib or 78.6. Or ideally it goes and breaks that low for the bear hidden. Extremely risky to sell this now. On the lower time frames, we've got a WXY, X2, and a Z down. So, if you've got a larger correction in here, you'd have to go down to lower time frames and then look for a correction in here and then a sell. Gold, like I've mentioned, if I just go to the weekly, I showed the chart that I put out, the trading view chart where I put it out over here somewhere for the X2. So I said that we'll get a 2-year, roughly a 2-year correction, same size correction as that there, and then we'll get that wave Z up. It's pretty much what's happened, and now we have a high. So like I said last week, it becomes risky to buy up the top here now. We do have bearish divergence on the daily. This may be some sort of an A, a B. We get a C in here for a running or expanding flat before we get an A, B, C as well. But we're pretty much looking for a little bit of downside. We've got all that bearish divergence on the H4 as well. H4, we got that A, a B, and a C up. This one here, has that broken that low? It hasn't quite broken that low yet. So there's probably more. I'm looking for that A, B, C. And this may turn into a wave Y and then an X2 and then a Z down as well. If you look on the lower time frame, if I just go down to the M15 quickly, I'll take this off here. So we got that WXY, X2, and we'll be looking for that Z down. Now this may be an A, B, C in here as the expanding flat in here. So this may fall over from here. Or give us another one up in here for the like A, B, C, and then give us more downside to break that low. We do have a bear hidden here. So it's very difficult to buy. You pretty much can't buy it until this top here is broken. At this stage, ideally, we get another one down, giving us that bullish divergence, and then you can start to look for a buy. It may just turn into a larger correction, 50 fib of this move here, and then get another one down. Looking at silver on the daily. So we got that WXY. X2, we had that bull hidden, so we were looking for this wave Z up. We got that. The problem was that we lost the bearish divergence in here, the two tops. So ever since that happened, I'm sort of just looking for a correction in here and then more upside. On the weekly, there is, you can see that we're in an X2, so this is possible that it does go down and break the low. But yeah, we don't have that bearish divergence, so I sort of can't forecast for that at this stage. H4, we got a high, so that's nice. This is a high here. Again, you have to go down to the lower time frames. We can really only sell this. But on if I just go down to the H1, remove this. So we got this WXY. You want to wait for that X2, and then you could look for that Z down. Bitcoin on the daily. So we sort of got that A, 1, 2, 3 breaking the low. So I'm looking at an A, B, C as an possible expanding flat. And then we come down and break that low. That is still possible. It's quite choppy up here. Actually, if I just go back to that one, we do have that bearish divergence in here. So looking at it like a WXY, a possible X2, and then a Z up. So this may be a correction in here. Get the Z up and before it falls over and breaks the low. I think we were in here last week, so we're looking for that sell. This is A, B, C. We got bullish divergence, so it gets very risky to sell down here at this stage. H1, we have the bullish divergence as well. Really, to trade this safely, we need a break above this top, give us a correction, and then we can look for the buy. Need this correction and the high and the correction before you can start to look for a buy, because we may get a bear hidden in here, and get another one down as some sort of an A, a B, a C as a running or expanding flat, and get another one down before we get that upside. So you will have to be, at this stage, you really have to go down to the lower time frames. If I quickly go down to the M15, so we got that bullish divergence, which is great. We got a nice move up here, so you'd be looking for a correction, and then you could look for a buy just for an A, B, C. You want to take half off at that 100 pip. and let the rest run. If price goes straight through that 100 fib, well, then you don't really have to take that half off. But if price gets around to the 100 fib and you start to see it reverse, well, you want to start to take half off. SPX on the daily. So nothing's really changed on this. We're looking for that A, B, C. It's sitting up the top here, so it still can be more upside. Technically, it is can finish at any time because this wave C up here did go and break that top of, well, the ending point of wave A. We got the 5 up on the H4. We got that like WXY, X2. We got that Z up. We got a nice impulse down, looking for a correction and more downside. Yeah, the H1, you can only really sell it. We got that 1, 2, 3 up, but then it started to do this, so it makes it really difficult. Got that nice impulse down, 1, 2, 3 up. Got a nice impulse down, but then this is very deep, so this is more bullish for an A, some sort of B, a C up, before we get an A, B, C. I'd stay out of it for a little while and until we get a clearer picture of what's going on in here. And if you're going to scalp it, well, you have to go down to the lower time frames because, you know, this can be some sort of an A, B, C in here before you get an A, B, C. AU 200. Very similar to S&P. We got that A, B, C in the B wave, and then we're looking for that A, B, C. This is still looking rather bullish. It did fall over last week a bit. We got that nice impulse up. This was looking really nice in here for the buy, and then it fell over. So we sort of got some sort of a WXY. This may give an X2 and a Z down. We may have a bear hidden in here. Yep, we do. So it becomes risky to buy this in here because it may just be an A, B, C up, and then we get that like WXY, X2, and the Z down to finish off this way, correction in here before we get more upside for the A, B, C. H1 is the same. You know, we got that possible bear hidden here. It didn't come down and break the low. It's more of this is the correction and we get an A, B, C. So you're getting a little flag in here. You could look for it to buy it just as a scalp. You definitely want to be at break even at the break of this top. And wherever the 100 fib is, you know, you want to take half off because the chances are the bear hidden will play out and it'll go and break that low before it goes. The FTSE on the daily. So this was looking nice at one stage. We're looking at that A, B, C, and we got that nice impulse down. Now, whether this is the A, B, C, and this is complete for more upside, well, it's definitely looking that way for the A, B, C. Last week, we're looking for that 38.2 fib retracement and possibly the 50 fib. I dare say on the H4 we don't have any bullish divergence. That's the problem with buying it. H1 may have bullish divergence. H1 does have bullish divergence. Problem is this is looking like an A, a B, and we get a C up here as a running or expanding flat before we get an A, B, C. So if you are buying this in here, and you can buy it, but you have to be really careful because it may just come up, break that top there, and then fall over and give us that flat. So yeah, you will have to be quite careful with this one at this stage. Looking at the DAX on the daily, sort of got that A, B, C started to fall over, and then we got that higher high. Very dangerous to be buying with this, all this bearish divergence. It's still looking bullish. That's the problem. Ideally, we get another one up here, giving us even more bearish divergence, and then a nice impulse down, and then give us something to sell. You know, until this happens, I would be staying out of it. You know, unless you're going to scalp, and it's very risky with all the bearish divergence on the daily and the H4 and even the H1. You know, yeah, it's sort of got this bear hit. Got this impulse up here. This is looking corrective. You're getting a little flag in here. You could probably look for that, just to go and break. You definitely want to be at break even at the break of that top. Yeah. I'll do nat gas as well this week. I've done this a couple of weeks ago. On the daily, we got that A, B, C down. It's down at that 100 fib. You can see what I'm looking for here, an A, B, C, and then another one. This can be a flat for more downside. But if we get a cross up in here and then another lower low, we're going to get a lot of bearish divergence. And this may be a nice buy. Not at this stage, but if this correction here plays out and we get a lower low, you know, this could be a long-term, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to buy. And, you know, your first target would be the 50 fib of this move here. So there is potential of upside in this. It's messing around down the bottom here. I'll just remove this. So you can see that I'm looking for an A, B, C in the B wave, and then a C up as some sort of a possible running flat. Before we get more, we may get a more downside. But, you know, we're getting all this bullish divergence. So, you know, we're only looking for buys. H1, we had to be careful, because this is a bear hidden. This is broken out now, so that's why I'll do it this week. But yeah, we were looking for this during the week, you know, to buy that. You've really got to go down to the lower time frame. Oh, you've got to just go down to the M15. So we got this nice impulse up here. You know, you'd be waiting for a correction, ideally back to that 50 fib, and then if you got any buy set up, you could look for the buy. So I hope you all enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, share. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.